For 3 decades, Judge Judy Sheindlin has reigned as the queen of US daytime TV.
I don't give a rat's behind about your lease agreement or any of your personal problems.
As I saw up close in her courtroom, justice is delivered swiftly and without challenge. You're still ferocious, witty. You don't seem to even miss a beat.
Well, I'm missing a couple of beats, but I'm glad you haven't noticed. I think that my message, the overall message, continues to resonate. I find it fascinating that the more I do this and the longer I've done it, the more things change, the more they remain the same.
No wonder the 82-year-old is seen as an institution. Her pragmatic, common-sense judgment is the sort you'd expect from a really sharp grandmother. And when we talk about women in particular, those, for example, who remain at the top of their game for decades, I think of our late Queen Elizabeth II, who obviously...
Oh, well, that's a big compliment. Even in the same sentence, that's a big compliment.
And I guess part of her appeal was this enduring presence in crossing over into different generations. And I think that's something that you've been able to do successfully.
When she said, when she became queen, that she was devoting her life to the people of the UK, she did that. And the monarchy, and I always felt that America wanted a monarchy, you know, with the Kennedys and the Bushes, and looked towards the UK when she was the queen for consistency, moderation. So she commanded respect because she dedicated herself to her people, her life to her people. I never got the impression that she was warm and fuzzy. Socially, even with her children, I never got the impression that she was warm and fuzzy, like Diana was warm and fuzzy with her children. But she commanded respect, and that's what you need in a leader. Your leader has to command respect.
I mean, you are still technically the reigning queen of daytime TV here.
The queen of court, the queen of daytime, the queen, but nobody is the queen. Only Elizabeth is queen.
He's passed the mantle on to King Charles. What would you rate his performance at the moment? Do you think he's been effective?
I don't think that the constituents have the same feeling for him. I think that you're supposed to regard the position, and I think that they're respectful, but I somehow don't think that he is embraced the same way as she was embraced.
And perhaps that will come with time. The longer he continues to do the job.
Yeah, well, you have to start when you're younger. You have to start when you're 20. If you start when you're 70, you don't have that much time to get
he's
up.
literally sprinting, isn't he?
Yes, he's sprinting.
She ended her famous show, Judge Judy, after a quarter of a century and launched Judy Justice on Amazon Prime in 2021.
If you can't hold your liquor, don't drink. If you're retired and you sleep until noon because you're drunk every day, that's not a smart thing for you.
A former criminal and family court judge, Judy has criticised the UK's Sentencing Council for new proposals telling judges in England and Wales they must consider a defendant's ethnicity, religion and gender when deciding whether to send them to prison.
What is your race, ethnicity, or gender have to do with going into a grocery store and taking out a gun and taking $50 out of the cash register, or hitting somebody over the head with a golf club and stealing their wallet? To me, the justice system in sentencing only has two purposes, either punishment or rehabilitation. Would that be a fair statement? Either you're going to put someone in jail because you're going to punish them for the crime to send a message to the rest of the community, this is what happens, and also to keep the community safe away from someone who you consider violent, or rehabilitation. I don't see how those criteria that you just mentioned have anything to do with rehabilitation. So if we're concentrating on punishment, and you are separating some people from others and saying, well, you must consider race, gender, ethnicity, something other than a propensity to continue to recidivate and continue to commit crimes. I would be furious as somebody if I didn't fit one of those criteria. it's a mistake. You know, sometimes well-intentioned people create bad law. And the problem is that usually innocents who have nothing to do with that mentality are usually the ones that suffer because they become the next victim.
And that's why critics argue that by implementing these potential changes, it would create a two-tier justice system, which would then see other people from other backgrounds demonized in a way.
Yeah, well, what if you don't fit into one of those categories? But, you know, you wake up one morning and say, today I'm a cat and I want to pee in a kitty litter. Do you know what I mean? Is that one of those, are we going to carve out? People have too much time on their hands. The justice system is broken. Making it look more compassionate isn't going to solve the justice system.
The ultimate matriarch, Judy's family are following in her famous legal footsteps. Her son and granddaughter are now TV personalities.
I don't like you to think that you're really dealing with somebody that's stupid. You just told me that you have access to many different companies.
Sarah is a law clerk working alongside her grandmother.
What you see on TV doesn't go away. That's not an act, you know, that's still woven in deep in the fabric of who she is. So she may be a little softer with us on occasion as family, but that doesn't just go away.
Sarah's dad, Adam, is a former district attorney who stars in his own courtroom series, Tribunal Justice.
The last thing you want to start doing right now, Mr. Betancourt, is start lying.
Which was created by his mother. Adam, can you separate judge from mommy?
Of course. Listen, I know who she is. I know what makes her tick. And I know that what you see is what you get. And it doesn't make a difference whether she's Judge Judy or whether or not she's mother. That she wants, you got to be responsible. You got to do the right thing. You got to tell the truth. It's just a matter how she'll deal with you if you don't.
Adam's brain and mine, we look at a situation and we will worm into it the same way. And he's a spectacular lawyer, cunning. And I love to watch him work. Sarah is a neophyte. You know, she graduated from law school, took the bar, passed it, and she's my clerk. She's yet growing, but she has the DNA. We'll see what happens with it.
Do you find it pressuring sitting alongside her, working with her?
I'm pretty confident in myself. I have a lot of self-confidence. Don't know where most of that came from, but you know, I really am. And I know that if I put in the work and I know it better than anyone in the room, then no one can challenge me because I know it better than anyone. So when we go through the cases, I read the same case files that she reads before we come out here and prep every possible question that I think she could potentially ask me. So by the time she asks, I already know she's going to ask and I already know the answer.
Do you watch your dad on Tribunal Justice?
More of a non-optional family activity type of way.
We have quizzes 3 times a week. Which one's your favorite show?
He'll say, you know, this one came out today and it was this one and I forgot what happened, and he'll get himself all riled up again about the case. So we hear a lot about it, but I don't mind.
One thing that I wanted to try and get my head around was some of your famous sayings. There's a particular name for them, isn't there?
You're talking about Judaisms.
So let's start with the first one. Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
What does that mean? Don't try to get over on me. Don't try to get over on me. My father said that to me long time ago. I gave him some excuse for not doing something that was really just a whole lot of who shot John. And he looked at me and he said, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining, which is, don't try to fool me. I'm smarter than you are.
Another thing that your father also said was beauty fades, but dumb is forever.
Yeah, well, you know, I may have ascribed that to my father. It was really my grandmother who said that. Actually, about one of her children.
What is your number one favorite saying from your grandmother?
The new one that has come out just in the past 4 years from Judy Justice is, the only one who should be worried about emotional distress is me. And I think, you know, she comes out here every day, she loves it. Nothing in here distresses her. But that's been one of my favorites, because I think that in today's generation, accountability is a little bit lacking. And so I think that you can say emotional distress, but that is a legal conclusion that she does not come to often. So that's one of my new favorites.
What do you think it is about her that has allowed her to have this longevity? Because there are so many personalities on TVs. They come, they go, they have their 15 minutes. She seemed to be having her decades.
The message that she has been preaching all these years is one of accountability, responsibility. And it rings true with the majority of the people out there watching. You may not like you may not like how she says it, but you like the message.
So what do you want people to take away from this interview today then? Because you've done a lot of these, you're still going, you're not slowing down, you don't plan on retiring anytime soon.
You have one go around. Unless you're Shirley MacLaine, there's only one go around at life. And you have the opportunity to be the hero of your own story. You don't have to be a television star or a movie star to be the hero of your own story. I have people here who have been with me for 30 years, and they've grown. They go from one thing and they grow into another position, and then they grow into another position. They work hard. That's a hero. And they become the heroes of their own story. If you don't, it's just a trip. You start out as nothing and you end up as nothing. And if in between you have nothing, you've robbed no one but yourself.
And clearly not all heroes wear capes. Thank you.
That's true. Pleasure.